I don't know who needs to hear this today, but just because your marriage didn't last 100 years doesn't mean you're a loser. Doesn't mean you got it wrong. And it definitely doesn't mean you've run out of time. In fact, if you're sitting here at 60 something and newly single, that probably means you had a damn good run. You did it. You cohabitated. You prioritized someone else's needs, probably for decades. You negotiated furniture placement, thermostat settings, possibly survived years of hearing somebody chew loudly. You earned a medal just for that. And now you find yourself free, maybe a little confused, a little dizzy, but free. I think there's some stuff to unpack here, so if that's at all interesting or intriguing, I hope you'll stick around because this conversation is what's on the agenda. Let's zoom in for a second, because if you got married somewhere in your 20s or even early 30s, like most of us did, you've probably been with somebody for 25, 30, maybe 40 years. That's not a failed marriage. That's a whole Netflix series with multiple seasons, a few cast changes, and at least one emotional plot twist. And if it ended, that doesn't mean it didn't matter. It just means the show wrapped. Cue the credits. On to the spinoff. And now here's where I have been known to get a little fired up on occasion. I made both my kids promise me, I'm sure this had nothing to do with me actually in the end, but they both promised that they wouldn't even think about getting married until they were at least 30. My daughter, she was over 30, my son early 30s now, single, so it looks as if they both listened. We're living longer than ever. And committing to someone when your brain isn't even fully cooked yet, yeah, science says that around 25. If you married in your 20s, you weren't wrong. You were just early. You were doing what everyone else was doing, and you had no idea that you were signing up for 70 plus years of shared closets and emotional negotiations for a lot of people. And now here you are in your 60s feeling more like you're in your 40s, just with better boundaries and stronger reaction to dairy. And if you're single again now, this isn't the end of your story. This is the scene in the movie where the lead character stares into the mirror, chops off their hair maybe, walks out into the fog ready to reinvent everything. This is the montage, baby. When my ex and I told our kids that we were splitting up after 25 years of marriage, obviously, we didn't say, well, guess that didn't work out. We said this was a great success, and now it's unfortunately over. Because it was a success. We raised two wonderful humans, built a life together, shared years of memories, and then we let each other go before we became roommates who occasionally made eye contact. Not every marriage is meant to stretch until one of you flatlines during a Matlock rerun. Some relationships are seasonal, and some are meant to teach you something, grow you, carry you through a chapter or 10, and then kindly exit stage left. Now, if your marriage was hard, if it was filled with mistreatment or silence or years of being invisible in your own home, you aren't mourning the end of a love story. You're celebrating your parole. Wait, did somebody just say recycling? I'm a huge fan of recycling. I rinse every jar and I sort every bottle. I drag that bin down to the curb like I'm saving the world. But every once in a while, there's a little wish cycling going on. You know, that moment where you toss something in the bin and you're just hoping that somehow miraculously there's a machine out there somewhere ready to transform it and give it a second life. And honestly, there's a little wishful thinking going on here, too. I see you. Some of you are just hoping you'll stumble across this channel again when you need it most. And sure, you could hope, or you could simply hit that button and subscribe. That way you always know where to find me. For the coffee and the conversation, a little clarity, do it. Just go ahead and hit that button. I mean, hope is nice, but having a plan, way better. All right, now we can head on back to the episode. Why were they even talking about recycling? Look, I know it's tempting to believe the lie that love and adventure are only for the young. But let me tell you, young people, they don't know what the hell they're doing any more than anybody does. They swipe on apps and think ghosting counts as communication. They prefer to be home on a Saturday night instead of disco dancing to Donna Summer. I digress. You've lived, you've loved, you've survived taxes and teenagers and turmeric stains and disco dancing. You are not too old for joy. You've still got time. And don't give me that, but I'm over 60 face. You're not a fossil. You're not a has been. You are an emotionally seasoned human, fluent in life, with plenty of runway left to start over better and brighter, to be honest. So don't worry that you missed your chance. You didn't. You didn't mess it all up. You didn't even fail at love. You succeeded at growth. You succeeded at showing up and giving your all. And then when it was no longer right, you succeeded at boundary setting, letting go, moving on, carrying on, owning who you are, taking care of yourself and your own heart, maybe. And now you get to ask, what do I want now? Not what do I owe this person I made a decision with at 24 years old when I thought we'd grow old and adorable like a rom-com. You don't even see that part of the rom-com. This is your time. You're reset. You want love again? Great. You want freedom and quiet and nobody touching your thermostat? Equally great. You want somebody who understands the sacred silence of morning coffee and leaves you alone while you, I don't know, scroll memes or watch the squirrels find their nuts? Great. Divorce in your 60s is not a scarlet letter. It's a silver lining. And it says, I'm still evolving. It says, I want more. And let's be honest, it also says, I finally got the good side of the bed back. I hope you found that interesting. I really hope you found it helpful. Shifts in thinking. That's all I'm aiming for here. And hey, before you go, that's my mom. She's showing you what a thumbs up looks like. She's very supportive, and I would love it if you would be as well today. I'll look forward to seeing you back here again soon. And until next time, have a good one.